Welcome to the UMT's massive open online course on the estuarine and mangrove ecology. I am Satyanarayana from the Institute of Oceanography and Environment. In this video, I will be talking about the mangrove distribution in different geographic areas. From this talk, you would be able to understand the regional distribution of mangrove cover in the world along with its species diversity estimates. The learning outlines of this topic are, firstly, the global mangrove cover, and second, the mangrove cover in Malaysia. In the world, there are 123 countries and territories are supporting mangrove vegetation in 15 million hectares. Although this 15 million hectares equals to only 1% of the tropical forest, mangroves are still considered as highly productive and rich in the biodiversity. Region-wise, Asia supports more than 40% of the global mangrove cover, followed by Americas, Africa, and the Oceania. Among the top mangrove supporting nations in the world, Asian countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and India are contributing up to 35% of the global mangrove cover. From the Americas, Brazil, Mexico, and Cuba are supporting nearly 17%. Australia, that belongs to the geographic region of Oceania, and Nigeria in Africa are next in the order with 6.5 and 4.8% contributions respectively. The global mangrove distribution can be separated into western and eastern hemispheres. Mangroves in the western hemisphere covering Atlantic East Pacific are known as New World mangroves, whereas the mangroves in the eastern hemisphere covering Indo-West Pacific are known as Old World mangroves. While the eastern mangroves are represented by as many as 40 species, the western mangroves are represented only by 8 species. If we look at the latitudinal distribution of mangrove ecosystems, its abundance close to the equator is very much clear. Highest mangrove cover around 0 to 5 degrees south is largely represented by Indonesia and Malaysia, while at 20 to 25 degrees north is by India and Bangladesh. This graph shows the highest concentration of mangrove species in the eastern hemisphere, especially around the Indo-Malayan region with more than 30 species. Coming to Malaysia, our country stands as second largest mangrove supporting nation in Southeast Asia and 6th in the world. You can find mangroves on both east and west coasts of peninsular Malaysia and in Sabah and Sarawak. In Malaysia, the mangroves occupy 709,700 hectares. However, 84% of this mangrove cover is found in East Malaysia, that is Sabah and Sarawak, whereas 16% in West Malaysia, that is Peninsular Malaysia. Within Peninsular Malaysia, the west coast, which is sheltered by Indonesia, is supporting up to 14% of mangrove cover, while the east coast, that largely exposed to the South China Sea, holds only 2%. The mangrove floral diversity in Malaysia was declared with more than 40 species. In Peninsular Malaysia, the highest mangrove species diversity is available at Selangor on the west coast and lowest at Tumpat on the east coast. From this talk, you are now aware of the global mangrove coverage and the mangrove distribution and the species richness in Malaysia. Hope you all enjoyed it. I look forward to meeting you again in my next talk. Thank you.